You don't really just have a scanner engineer. There's a whole load of fields of expertise that we have in our team in Japan. Part of that is the mechanics of scanners, and we're probably the world experts in feeding pieces of paper through a machine because we've been doing that 40, 50 years. We know everything that can go wrong. We've got solutions for anything. And so definitely a key area of expertise. And you can see in our latest scanners that the technology for actually monitoring the flow of paper through the scanners is changing. We have customers with whole loads of different environments. Maybe it's a slightly damp environment. What you find is that we can actually create differentiation because we understand how it all works. We're not just relying on a theory that sometimes people who don't have that expertise are doing. So mechanics is one part, then the actual optics in terms of capturing the image. Again, technology is evolving in that space. Processing that image to ensure it's most effective in terms of whether we want to use the image or we want to capture data from the image. So moving into technologies like OCR, and then the whole process stuff around what file types we put the image into, how we compress it, how much memory it's going to take, what metadata we include in the file. So again, there's a whole load of expertise there, and that is extending with time into some of these new solutions that Brian has highlighted in terms of ID. Ensuring that we can verify who's actually captured the document and is actually genuine.
And it's in the metadata, Tony, as well, isn't it?
Exactly. And again, maintaining the security of the document as we change the way we work. When we had a scanner connected to a PC via a USB cable, then yes, it was all self-contained. Now we're working in network environment. Security becomes more and more important, and we are the experts in that field. So we pull these experts together. We look at how we can ensure that the solution that we're delivering, which is a combination of hardware and software, is going to be fit for purpose for what the customer needs to do.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good relationship that we have, actually, in terms of the feedback loops within the organization from Europe back to Japan, and also from the US back to Japan. I think it's really important because standards evolve in different places. Legislation compliance evolves in different places. Like, for instance, at the moment we have a scenario whereby the EU Artificial Intelligence Act is coming out, which requires that there is a so-called adequate human oversight as part of a process, and you can apply that to capture as well. But there isn't such legislation in the US, just yet. So, we might be the voice of that within the organization globally at the moment to ensure that we're preparing for that. But ultimately, at some point, we'll see the need for that in the US. And sometimes the US have legislation or regulation that they are having to address, and then the European Union and other global countries are catching up in terms of their legislation. So the way we're configured for that, is quite good. You generally, when it's a big piece of compliance, generally it pops up in some form everywhere. So, and we might be ahead of it in Europe right now, and the US might be ahead on something else. So it works quite well, I think.
That's nice. Yeah, it sounds very much like our global diversity of experience and needs actually all feed in to give the engineering team a really good picture of what might be needed in the future and what's likely is.
Yeah, pretty much. It works well. It works well.
Moving on to hardware leadership. We know that PFUE scanners, and especially the FI series, have a reputation for being reliable, trusted, and market leading. So, Tony, how do you see hardware continuing to play a leadership role in our market?
I think it is through evolution based on the expertise that we've got in this field, particularly in our team in Japan. Yes, paper requirements or paper feeding requirements are evolving. There is very much a greater need to build scanners into solutions, and that's probably where the biggest challenges and opportunities arise. And yeah, we're at the front of technology in that space.